Welcome back to the 2019 Stafford Open, presented by Gatekeeper Media. This is the second round, back nine. I am Adam Harris, your tournament director, and with me is Becky Harris, my lovely wife.
The 2019 Stafford Open this year is driven by Innova Champion Discs. It is a PDGA A-tier event. We look forward to hosting today with the back nine coverage. If you look here after the front nine, we have Sarah Hokom leading with 5 down overall, Lisa Fajkus 4 down, Holly Finley +1, and Kona Star Panis +6. Looking forward to seeing what these ladies can do on the back nine.
And here we are coming into hole 10, which is a 257-foot tunnel shot. Straight away, rather tight line in the woods that is into a very protected green.
Mm-hmm. Very good par 3. If you can make it through those tight trees, you should have a fairly simple shot towards the basket. And let's see what Holly can do here. Nice little flip up towards the basket.
Whoa. That looked to go right under it.
Nice little ace run there.
Beautiful shot. This is one of those holes that's all about making the drive through this gap.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what Sarah Hokom didn't do. Nice forehand out the hand, but unfortunately hit one of the right-sided trees.
A little early on the right, but it looked like her disc fell in the fairway. Kona's up next. That looks to be standing up really nice down the line. Staring down the almost ace run. That's a fantastic drive, Kona. Setting herself up well for a good looking at a birdie putt.
Coming up fourth here on hole 10 is Lisa Fajkus. Another nice shot. Just hit the tree. Should probably have an outside the circle putt from there. Hokom sitting in the fairway a little bit. Forehand shot. Just hit another tree, but should land her in the fairway for a putt.
Long putt for the par. Just a little bit to the right. Lisa putting for her birdie. Just outside of the circle. Also a little bit high right.
Kona setting up for her birdie putt as well. Great putt by Kona. Nice birdie. While this is only a 257-foot hole, it is one of the tightest, probably straightest holes on the course, wouldn't you say, Adam?
It is. A lot of people say the hardest shot to throw in disc golf is that straight shot, and this is that hole that calls for that exact shot. Mm-hmm. Holly setting up for her birdie putt.
Nice putt.
Well done.
Mm-hmm. Lisa's having a putt over the stump. Nice easy par for there. I guess hole 10's a nice little 257-foot short reprieve, even though it's a tight wooded hole, but up next is obviously the long par 5, so you want to kind of mentally prepare yourself for that next hole.
Hole 10 can be tough. It's very easily birdied, and if you make a good clean drive, it's easily birdied or bogeyed.
Yep.
11 is up next, 775-foot par 5. It goes straight off the tee and then dog legs right about here as the drone's turning to the left over a slight hill that curls down to the valley, and after this large tree in the middle of the fairway, it starts to bend around to the second dog leg to the right, where you go over about a 4-foot high mound and then over a little bit of a ditch into a straight approach into the basket. Very touchy, very finicky hole that can be easily birdied, parred, double bogeyed. Mm-hmm. Tough hole.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what Holly can do here on her drive.
Little early right.
Mm-hmm. And this is one of those drives where, you can either take a driver and, throw it nice and hard, highs are out, easy if you're a right-hander. Or just throw a mid-range, just kind of soft mid-range straight down the middle and land yourself, have a good placement for a second shot. I think there Kona was probably trying for the nice hyzer route, but unfortunately, hit a tree to the left and landed in the woods a little bit to the left.
I agree with that. This hole is all about how much you want to take a bite out of off the drive.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like Lisa's put a mid-range up, took a little tickle on the right, and she's in the left rough.
Mm-hmm. Hokom's probably going to want to hyzer flip that forehand shot to get it around to the left a little bit. But it looks like it just straightened out. And that shot should leave her another nice straight shot up. Good placement. One of our many volunteers there, Rick Benfield, Volunteer of the Year.
One of our really good volunteers this past year. Helped put in a new course and came out and spotted all rounds out here.
Mm-hmm.
Kona's in a tough spot, as is Holly. Early left on this hole is a lot of mountain laurels and a lot of trees in the way. Good shot just to chip out if you can get all the way out to the fairway, which it looks like Holly's pushed out, being on a right edge right now.
Mm-hmm. It looks like Kona's going to try for an Anheuser forehand shot to get her around the fairway.
Well played.
Yes, very well played. Should set her up for another shot down the pipe. Lisa with her forehand shot. Oh, that looks gorgeous.
Oh, that's a fantastic shot. Good shape for what was called for right there.
Yep, exactly what you want to do on this hole.
Turn over to flatten out. She should be right at the dog leg, looking right at the pin.
Mm-hmm. This should be a good setup shot for Hokom because it's a simple forehand hyzer shot for her to be able to get around.
Little high, kicked a little bit right. Holly's on the right edge.
Gorgeous shot. Even that little kick to the left, she should still have a good hyzer shot up towards the basket from there.
Kona's off, little left edge. Mm-hmm. She looks to be about at the mound in the ditch area.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that looks to be a really good out for Hokom.
Mm-hmm. She made it over that ditch. Which anything over that ditch should leave you, a 250-foot shot up towards the basket?
Once you get past the ditch, it opens up a little bit. This is a tough hole. It definitely requires a lot of patience and a lot of mental strength. Holly looks like she's played that up. We got this nice bounce right out to the center. She should have a pretty clean look at the basket there.
Mm-hmm. Another forehand shot for Lisa.
Wow.
Another gorgeous shot for her.
A lot of power on that forehand.
Mm-hmm. And a hole like this just shows what type of ability you need to be able to maneuver down the fairway. Forehand, backhand, high hyzer, anhyzer. It's a good hole. A good design, Adam.
Thank you. If you get a little off on this hole, it's going to require every shot in the book you've got. Because of the double dog leg, you could be on the left side and quickly find yourself on the right side, needing a completely different shot on your next throw. Mm-hmm. As Hokom goes overhand.
Wow, got some skip at the end. Looks like left her about a 50-foot shot. Nice little putter up shot for her.
Yeah, leaving her on circle's edge.
Mm-hmm. Looks like Lisa's kind of taking that right-handed route around the big trees. Should leave her maybe about a 15-foot putt. Looks like Kona needs to putt over the laurels.
Laying herself up nicely for a finish.
Mm-hmm. Great putt by Holly. Even though bogey 6, it's still a great score on this hole. I think anything from a 4 to a 7 is a great hole. And look at this Gatekeeper rewind with her putt.
That's just excellent focus. Knowing you're putting from bogey from outside circle and maintaining the focus to keep it to a bogey.
Mm-hmm.
Strong play there. That's what I was talking about earlier. This hole requires a tough mental attitude.
Mm-hmm. Great putt, too, by Sarah. Great par, Hokom.
Fantastic save there.
Mm-hmm.
She fought the whole way down the hole and really put up a good 5.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive.
Oh.
Little left. Just chained out.
Mm-hmm. Good putt, Kona.
Kona in for double.
Lisa will just tap out. So we got almost a little bit of a small straight. 5 for Sarah, 6 for Holly, and 7 for Lisa and Kona. You know, at least after hole 11, we have the next 3 holes, which is essentially birdie alley. So here we have hole 12, 274-foot par 3. As you can see, it kind of goes uphill, goes to the left a little bit, and it just fades back to the right there. You kind of have to get up those little wooden tier mounds to be able to give yourself a good putt towards the basket. But 12, 13, 14 are definitely 3 holes that you really want to birdie going into the last few.
That looks like it's got a nice shape on it from Sarah.
Yes.
Nice angle.
Mm-hmm. This almost sets up like a perfect shot for a righty forehand.
It really does. You put a little bit of turnover and let it come back. Particularly where it's in B-pin for this event. This is a really good shot by Holly. Should hyzer and be just about circle's edge.
Yep.
It's a good spot to be.
Mm-hmm. Kona with a great drive, too.
Very similar. She's going to be a little bit more left to Holly and right in the middle of the fairway.
Mm-hmm. Just outside the circle.
That's a great, great shot because this pin is very well protected back in the back of that green.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa's throwing it inside a little bit tight.
Mm-hmm. She should still have a pretty easy upshot from there, though. Up the hill, but she still should have an easy upshot. As you can tell, she can see the basket from there. And almost going in. The little bit of laurels just slowed her down a little bit. Looks like Hokom's going to have to do an Anheuser putt over the tree.
Wow.
Good run at it,
That's a really
Sarah.
good run. Looks like she caught a little bit of a branch as well on the way in.
And Kona should have a straight, unrestricted putt towards the basket.
Just a little right. Should leave her for the comeback par. Holly stepping out. Get a better look at it. Laura was still in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Just misses.
High left. Just a little bit outside.
Mm-hmm. I love how all these girls, when they're putting, they have focus and determination in their eyes, while all of them have a different way they set up to putt. You know, I'm sure they're staring at a chain and staring it down to make sure that they get it in the basket.
These are all very experienced touring pros, and they have a routine and a focus, and it shows when they step up on a tough course like this that, like I said earlier, any hole can be birdied, any hole can be bogeyed, and this is one of those courses. It's not quite like Iron Hill that beats you, but it certainly presses you.
Mm-hmm.
So we're at hole 13, which is a downhill 204-foot par 3. It's very much a finicky touch shot. It's very easy to go long. It's very easy to go left or right early. Sarah Hokom up, throwing her forehand.
Hits the one tree in the fairway that you want to miss. But it sets up nicely for a righty forehand shot, though.
If this comes out, that's going to be right there. Looks like it's held flat. She's going to be just outside of the circle. Kona's going to be putting for her birdie.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa also throwing the forehand. And that's hit the gap well. That might have a chance to skip up and go in.
Ooh! Wouldn't be surprised if she struck the bottom of the basket there. Holly standing out from the rest and throwing a backhand. Good little tickle from the tree. Gets her right up towards the basket. Hokom with a overhand shot. Just to get over some of the trees, some of the laurels. Probably got about halfway there. Now she's going to be throwing under all the laurels to try to get herself a putt.
This is a fun but challenging putt from under there. The ceiling's really low. Kona's got a similar look from the left edge of the green.
Woo!
Wow.
That was a great putt. She established some good
Fantastic.
control there.
Well outside the circle from a knee. Threw a beautiful hyzer right into center chains.
Mm-hmm.
A little low right.
Yep. Went in the basket. It looks like it circled inside the basket and just came out.
Tidy bowl's not good in disc golf.
We got 3 of the ladies on this card sponsored by Team Innova.
We do.
We do. We have Lisa. We have Kona. And Holly. And then Sarah, sponsored by Team MVP. And after hole 13, we have Lisa and Kona with 2s, Holly with a 3, and Sarah with a bogey 4.
Star Wombat 3. This is a new addition to Garrett Gerthy's bag. This is the most utilizable disc that you can make do whatever you want. So with the hyzer line low, it'll hold the hyzer. If I throw it with a little hyzer, throw a little high, pops up straight and holds the line straight. I throw it for backhand about 60-70% and let it go about 380, 400. I'm gonna be getting a bunch of birdies with this at the World Championships this year.
And we're back here, 2019 Stafford Open. We are at hole 14, a 287-foot par 3. This one kind of goes around to the left a little bit and then back up towards the right to the basket, as you can see right here. This is another one of those holes where the righties can throw a nice forehand shot to get up towards the basket. And it looks like that's what Kona is doing right here.
Very, very well executed shot. Slight anhyzer on that forehand, allowing it to come back right at the basket, leaving herself a good look at a birdie. Lisa looks to be setting up for a similar shot, putting it up really high. And catching one of those tree trunks up high. Holly throwing the backhand hyzer right up the middle. That should leave her a little bit left, looking right at the basket. That's a very well placed, accurate shot.
Yep. Hokom throwing the forehand. Very nice.
Oh, finish.
Good height.
Yep. Gave herself a
good height.
really, really good line on that. Lisa should have the hyzer around. There's a back door over there that caught the last tree on the way in. Still leave herself a putt for the par, though.
Hokom with another slight anhyzer putt uphill, which can be a tough putt to have, putting anhyzer uphill, because you gotta give it a little bit more. You're already giving it some while you're throwing uphill.
Holly finishing birdie strong. Next out would be Lisa. And there's some of that routine and focus Becky was referring to earlier. Finishing strong up and down there.
Yep. As you could see, 12, 13, and 14, all three, fairly straightforward under 300-foot holes that, ultimately you would want 2 or at least 3, setting yourself up into hole 15 and 16 and 17, which are 3 par 4s that, you really want to, par for sure, especially with 16 having the OB. But Kona had that great birdie there, so she had 2 in a row, hole 13 and 14.
She's been on a little bit of a run here. You can see Kona's 5 over, Holly's 1 over, Lisa and Sarah are tied at 3 down. We're into hole 15, which is 731-foot par 4, coming out of this tunnel in the trees into a wide open field. There is no OB on this hole, and then it goes into the tree gap, and there is you can see the V tree just there at the tree line. You can go to the left or to the right. The drone's coming down the right fairway, right at the basket, into a nice circular block green that's there to prevent erosion.
Yeah, ultimately on this drive, you want to get yourself out in the open, just like Kona did here. Nice little hyzer flip kind of shot. Get her out in the open into the fairway to have a good second shot. The second shot, while it's wide open, you really have the wind to contend with. Holly with a nice drive. Turn that over just a little bit. But again, still out in the open. That is the goal.
Lisa lays into it, and she looks like she's also made it out. You really want to get out in this one, but it's a gap in the trees, so you want to get out with power. It's how much power do you throw without bringing those trees into play. And it looks like Sarah's put a pretty good forehand onto it. That's four very impressive drives. Everybody made it out with distance. Looks like Hokom's up first. That should finish back into the middle of the green, looking right down one of the pipes, the right edge. Yeah. That's a really long shot from there.
I like the tall grass on this hole because right here, Holly's doing a run up, but I know for myself, I do a stand and deliver. I don't want to do a run up in the tall grass. I feel like there's some more variables, to each their own. But I like that the grass itself just creates a little bit of an extra challenge here.
It is an obstacle to your footing.
Yeah.
The short stuff's great to play from, but the long stuff adds a little bit of obstacle to your footing on your run-up.
Yeah, and Lisa got almost all the way in there. Looks like she kicked a tree right on the border.
If that stays flat, that's going a long way.
Great form by Kona, too.
That went a long way.
Yep.
That's a really good shot.
I find anytime a second shot can punch back into the woods, it's a great second shot. Wow, Holly's going for it.
What an accurate upshot there from Holly.
Yep.
That is a really tight line that only calls for one shot straight. Sarah played it very well.
Yeah.
From there, she's got the same thing. She's only got a hyzer. The trees line up very well from certain spots. Lisa should have a forehand hyzer here as well. Not the easiest shot, as evidenced by a branch that she got.
Should still have an open shot from there. She's, Kona's right there. Lisa's just in front of her, so should still have a good shot up towards the basket, just like you can see there from Kona. So easy tap in from there.
Lisa also approaching it to inside the block circle.
Stayed on top. Just the top band.
Just a little high.
Holly will have an uphill putt.
I feel like I'm not supposed to move because she's putting right at me. Holly drains the par. That's a really good par.
Yep.
This is a very tough hole.
Yeah, this hole in general plays slightly over 4. Whereas hole 16, you'll see coming up plays slightly under 4. So it's a very good balance for both of those holes. Just as Lisa's demonstrating balance by keeping her feet on top of the beautiful hardscape green. All the ladies just tapping out. I think this layout is very good for the ladies. While, a blue level course is usually a 950 rated course.
Correct. This would be generally geared and designed towards a 950 rated player to play for par.
Yeah, and I think, while a lot of these ladies average, 880 to, 960, I think it plays really well for all the skill levels. And you have a mix of open holes, wooded holes, holes you have to throw over the pond, and a hole like this, hole 16, where while it's an open hole, you have to keep it inbounds and have the wind to contend with.
Definitely a course that allows a little bit of power to be played on some of these open field holes, but it still requires some patience.
And as you could see with some of the right-handed, backhanded players, they're almost throwing over the out-of-bounds line to make sure that they'll be able to hyzer back in to have a clear shot in the fairway. And if you have 2 well-executed shots here, you can land right under the basket and have a nice, easy tap-in birdie. But if you throw too hard or turn your disc over, especially in the wind, you could leave yourself a longer putt.
Looks like here in round 2, some of these ladies have figured this hole out a little bit, and they all backed off their drive a little bit. They all played well inside of the OB stakes to leave themselves a nice upshot for birdie that's still within reachable distance from them. Very well played golf. Smart hole. Looks like Sarah's going to hyzer in and leave herself a little bit short, but inbounds, putting for the birdie.
Great shot by Holly.
That looks like that's going to finish the same spot.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right under it.
Yep. So where that little mulch pile is, if you land right there, you are literally under the basket. So that's almost what you want to aim for when you're, aiming towards the basket. And Kona had a great upshot. She still stays inbounds. And as you could tell, she's just outside the circle, maybe about, 38 feet.
Putting at the elevated basket. You can see the trees moving just a little bit today. It was still windy.
Great
Sarah
putt.
dropping a long putt for the birdie.
Yeah, that's a great putt from that distance because you're putting into an elevated basket, like we'll see here on the Gatekeeper rewind. She gets it high enough to where it leaves her, some of the natural gravity for it to fall into the basket. And what a great putt Sarah had.
I'd be smiling too.
Yep. It looks like they're all about the same distance putting.
Lisa put it up just a little high, gave herself a chance to make it.
Yep. Holly with about 12-footer elevated basket.
Making
Good
the birdie.
putt. Like I said, earlier when we all teed off, if you have 2 great executed shots here and they stay in bounds, you could very easily birdie this hole. But it all depends on what the wind's doing. Lisa, as you could tell, she was relieved that stayed in. I'm sure, you could see the leaves were blowing as she was putting. So I'm sure she was very relieved to have that land in the basket. And now she's trying to mess with Kona a little bit and have the basket shake. But should be a nice, easy tap in for her. So
Kona's
we have
finishing for her par. We've got Sarah at 3 down, Lisa at 2 down. And we're coming on to 17, which is a 520-foot downhill par 4 that you really have to get through those 2 trees that the drone just flew by. Really tight gap off the tee, and it places into a righty turnover that bends down the yellow brick road that was mulched so heavily by Eric Sestaro and the Woodpeckers.
We have Holly here coming up for her first shot. Oh, you could tell as soon as she released it, she was jumping up and down.
Just a bit outside. She seemed to know it right away. Sarah looks to have put a move on that disc.
Yeah, that's a great drive.
Being a lefty backhand, that's going to stand up and go a long way. That's going to set herself up the left side, looking at a nice line in for a birdie.
Yeah, lefty backhand or righty forehand definitely, has a slight advantage on this hole.
Kona looks like she released that a little early. She's in a little early left.
It's one of those holes too. It's like, do you throw a driver, give it as hard as you can and let the disc kind of do the work and let it turn over, or do you maybe throw a mid-range, for a right-hander and just let it glide nice straight down the middle and leave yourself a nice upshot. Lisa still landed in the fairway. She did hit a tree, but she still landed in the fairway and should, have herself a longer upshot, but could potentially get still a birdie from there.
Holly's got to push that up the left rough. There's not much over there behind that short tee over there. You just got to push through a lane and get some distance to give yourself a chance to get up and down. If you get over there early, Kona's going to be in the same situation. And she's pushed it through as well. Looks like she's going to get down far enough to maybe give herself a chance to get up and down.
That's what I like about these holes at Stafford. Even if you hit early, whether you land in the fairway or go into the woods, you can still recover yourself well to save par. Like you were saying earlier, it is a risk reward type course, and it really is how confident are you that day with your game. You know, Lisa here had a great turnover, just hit a tree, should still have a nice easy line up towards the basket. But this hole is a tight hole. You know, you have to execute well, you have to go down the hill, turn to the right, and, you know, you really have to have all the variables together.
As short as it is at 520 foot par 4 downhill, it plays almost exactly to par for every tournament. Just there's so many birdies, but there's so many bogeys for when you miss that drive, you really hang yourself out. Here looks like Holly shot that a little long.
Or she was going for it to get that birdie. Holly's been putting so well today, though. I have a feeling she'll probably get that comeback putt. Hokom with a backhand, not something you see too often from her, but that was a great upshot. She should still be able to reach that, 25-footer.
Lisa with her Anheuser approach. Looks like she laid it right under it. Smart play there.
Mm-hmm. Just missed high and left. Holly with her comeback putt. Oh, it's a good run at it.
Sarah
Great putt.
making another really good putt, dropping in for birdie.
Mm-hmm.
She's been having a really, really good 9 here.
Mm-hmm. Kona coming back with her putt. All right.
Kona's in for the bogey.
Holly should have a nice easy putt, and then Lisa should tap out. You know, as we'll see here in a second, there is a wide array of, scoring separation on this hole with Sarah with a birdie, Lisa with a par, Kona bogey, and Holly with a double bogey. That's one of those holes you got to get going into this last hole here on hole 18, which is a 285-foot par 3. You want to, for a righty, you want to have a nice high hyzer around those trees, which should set you up real nicely anywhere here in the circle green. There is a little cheater route that we would call it, kind of on the left side.
Looks like Hokom just hit it.
Yep. Just kicked a tree. She's behind some laurels. So it looks like Lisa kind of took that quote-unquote cheater route over those laurels. We call it the cheater route because if you do hit a tree and, land right there, there's a laurel sand trap. So you really want to just make sure that you kind of sneak around that route. It gives you a little bit more of an inside look towards the basket. Kona is probably about 30 feet out, but she will have some laurel trees to contend with.
That stays flat. That's good. Just a little too flat. So it looks like Holly's going to be about 75, 80 feet out.
She's...
Well played.
Yeah.
Laying it up, smart. Get up and down and get home.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah's got to go over the mountain laurels. Laying it up as well. That's a smart play. You run that and run long and get behind the mountain laurels behind it. Kona didn't quite get through all of them.
Mm-hmm. Great putt.
Lisa finishing
Nice birdie.
strong with the birdie.
Yeah, she shot +2 overall this round, which leaves her at 3 down after 2 rounds.
She's been on a tear here.
Great putt by Kona.
Kona finishing her par, 5 over this round. Leaves her at +6.
Looks like something distracted Sarah and lined up again. Sarah getting that in the basket for her par. She had a great round today, shooting even, which leaves her at 4 down overall going into the final day. It's a great round by Sarah.
Holly lining up her putt, coming right at us. Center chains for the par. Holly finished that round at +5. She's 2 over overall after 2 rounds. So the leaderboard has Sarah Hokom at 4 under, Lisa Fajkus at 3 under, Holly at 2 over, and Kona Panis at +6. Some excellent golf from these ladies here today, and we look forward to seeing you again for round 3 of the 2019 Stafford Open.
And as you can see here, for tomorrow morning, we will see Sarah Hokom at 4 down, Lisa Fajkus 3 down, Holly at +2, and Vanessa Van Dyken at +6. All here, we thank you so much for watching, and we will see you soon.